Hello, everybody, and welcome to live coverage of Averett women's basketball here on the Averett Sports Network. Got a great one for you today as the Cougars take on Pfeiffer University. About 5 minutes away from the start of national anthem and announcements, but obviously big game for the Cougars. They come into today's match with a 12-7 record, 9-2 in the USA South after yesterday's big 64-61 comeback win over Ferrum College right here. Very exciting game. Cougars did not lead until the last minute. They took their first lead in the game with 49 seconds to go on a pair of Raven Johnson free throws. And hopefully that'll give the Cougars a little bit of momentum coming into today against Pfeiffer, a team that's 13-2 on the season. They don't count towards the USA South standings as they make the transition from Division II to Division III, but they are a part of the USA South Conference joining this year, but again, don't count toward the standings just yet. These two teams met earlier this year down in Meisenheimer at Pfeiffer, and Pfeiffer able to pick up a 77-66 win over the Cougars back on January 13th. This is the third meeting overall between the two teams. They did meet once before back in the day when Pfeiffer was still Division II back in 2000. So Pfeiffer 2-0 in the series against the Cougars. Pfeiffer coming into today's game, they picked up a win yesterday over Ferrum College. They picked up a win yesterday against Greensboro College, 64-60. And so they are riding a two-game winning streak. About 3 minutes to go here. Take a look at the starters. For the Cougars, it will be the usual starting five: Amani Ajayi, Sam Chandler, Raven Johnson, Alexis Garcia, and Brooke Carthen getting the start today for the Cougars. Yesterday, Brooke Carthen had a team-high 16 points with 5 rebounds. Sam Chandler added 14 points, 7 rebounds, 3 steals, 3 assists. Raven Johnson, 12 rebounds, which was a team high. Also had 3 blocks and 3 steals. Alexis Garcia had a really strong game as well. 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. And Amani Ajayi with 8 points and 6 rebounds. For Pfeiffer, their starters, Grayson Harris, Deja Scott, Maya McLean, Brina Bentley, and Sydney Bickford. Bickford leads the way in terms of average of scoring. She has 13.7 points a game. Grayson Harris, 8.8 rebounds among the starters. That's a team high. So it should be a really good game. As I said, this Pfeiffer team really strong in their first season as a USA South Conference member. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Davin Wilson will be on the call for today's game, filling in for the injured Eddie Glenn. Hope, Eddie, if you're listening, hope you're feeling better. And get well soon. We'll see you back here on the mic. But we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we will have the game for you here on the Averett Sports Network.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the Grand Center as we are just a few minutes from the start of today's USA South women's basketball game between Pfeiffer and the Cougars of Averett University. I'm Davin Wilson, and we'll be here today on the call for both of the games of today's USA South doubleheader. First, of course, we have the women's team going up against Pfeiffer University, and then that game will directly be followed by the Averett University men's team taking on the USA South leading Methodist Monarchs. So we're in for a good game here today. Averett coming in, riding quite a hot streak right now. They have won 4 in a row, and they have also won 9 out of their last 11. They came back to a squeaker against Ferrum College yesterday where the Cougars led for about 45 seconds throughout the whole game, but it was the 45 seconds that mattered, as it was the 45 seconds towards the end of the game where the Cougars were able to pull ahead and hang on for a 64-61 win against the Panthers. And it was a game that the Cougars really needed yesterday, as they had run through every other opponent that they had played for the most part up to that point yesterday. They entered the game coming off a 83-53 victory against the Monarchs of Methodist University. They backed that up with a 76-47 win over Meredith College. And then they began last weekend with a 79-55 win over William Peace. Also, the Cougars avenged a loss exactly 2 weeks today against Ferrum, 79-72. And the last time they met the Falcons of Pfeiffer, it was the Eagles coming out on top 77-66. So Averett coach Liz Hickey has her team looking like a different squad this year. Came in wanting to implement a faster-paced offense. She's been able to pull that off, as the Cougars are constantly putting up 70, 80 points a game at least. Also wanting to use a tighter defense, and that has paid off for them as well too, as they have set marks better than they posted this time last season. So Pfeiffer, that's going to be number 5, Maya Johnson with the shot. Amani Ajay comes down with the rebound. Right now it's Rosia. Rosia over to Ajay, but the ball is tipped by number 22, Sydney Bickford. Bickford unable to corral it in. The ball will go out of bounds, and it will be Cougars ball. So 24 seconds off the clock here. Nobody scored yet. 0-0 game. Brooke Harthen on the inbound for the Cougars. She gets it out to Rosia. Rosia, prototypical point guard, able to shoot anywhere on the floor, able to dish out passes to her teammates for easy buckets. And here she draws and puts up a left-handed jumper, and it's a 2-0 game here quickly in favor of the Cougars. Pfeiffer, first year coming over in the USA South, 12-7 Averett, and there's a bucket by Bentley, the 5'9" freshman forward out of Chester, Virginia, up the other side of Richmond. So she gets it down to Ajay. Ajay, quick chest pass over to Rosia. Rosia looking for Raven Johnson, unable to find anything there. And yes, that was Raven Johnson that Rosia was looking for. So Pfeiffer right now passing ball around as it is in the hands of Bickford. Bickford gets it over to Deja Scott. Scott's bucket unable to fall. Johnson there with the rebound. Rosia with the ball now. Rosia, nice pass, but just a little bit too much air on it, as Ajay cannot come down with it, and that is going to go out for a Falcons ball and a Falcons possession. It'll be number 15, Brina Bentley, who has the Falcons 2 points so far on the inbound. So Pfeiffer, D2 school coming down this year. Very high-paced offense for both the men's and women's teams coming out of Pfeiffer. And that's going to be Bentley again trying to put it back up. She is fouled. And she will go to the line for 2 shots. Had a block on the play against Ajay. That is her first personal, first team. And that's going to send Bentley to the line for a pair of shots. First one clanks off the front, bangs off the back iron, and then to the hardwood. So let's see if she can back in this second shot right here to give her team its first lead of the game. So here's Bentley's shot, and that one is in and out. Ajay there with the rebound, quickly out to Chandler. Chandler with quite a few hands in her faces right now, being double teamed. She tries to get a pass over to Raven Johnson. Johnson, a great hustle play to save that one, but the ball goes to Grayson Harris. Pfeiffer quick in transition, perhaps a little bit too quick though, as they will throw an errant pass out of bounds. So Chandler on the inbound gets it out to Carthen. Carthen back to Chandler. Chandler back to Carthen. Pfeiffer right now in the 3-2. So Rosia bounce pass over to Carthen. Carthen driving into the paint. She puts it off the glass. No good. Pfeiffer there with the rebound. Number 11, Scott. Scott gets it over to number 22, Bickford. So the ball is back in the hands of Scott. Scott gets it back out to Bickford. So Scott over to number 15, Bentley. So Pfeiffer right now trying to work the ball inside, trying to get those high percentage shots, but they are running out of time as shot clock down to 4, and that's Deja Scott coming in as the shot clock winding down. We'll find some space in the paint. Pfeiffer put it on the press now. So Ajay pass tipped. Chandler, though, with it. Chandler with the J. No good. Carthen battling down for the board. She gets it. And there's the bucket, and Carthen is fouled. So Carthen looking to convert the three-point play right now. So the foul whistled on Deja Scott. Her first personal team first. Carthen at the line for 1. Here it comes, and her shot is good. And she will complete the three-point swing. 5-4 now in favor of the Cougars. 6:52 remaining in the first quarter. As I said earlier, it was Pfeiffer prevailing earlier this season. 77-66 there. And Carthen is going to get hit with the backcourt violation. And that will be an unforced turnover for the Cougars. So it looks like Shannon Longworth will be checking into the game. Longworth has been impressive lately, knocking down some big shots. She helped Averett kind of wake out of its slumber last Sunday against Meredith. Meredith took a 15-12 lead into the half, after the end of the first 10 minutes. And Longworth came out there, got a couple of big steals, got a couple of threes on the other end, dished out a few passes, and got the Cougars going. So the shot does not fall. Rosia there with the rebound. Averett back quickly in transition. Chandler puts up the layup, and Chandler gets to the fall. And that is a 5-0 run now for Averett, as the Cougars have pulled ahead by a trio of points. It looks like we're going to have Kiara Anderson and Kayla Whitworth into the game for the Falcons. Grayson Harris knocks down her basket, and it's now 7-6. And the ball will get deflected. Rosia's pass deflected off a Falcons player. And Averett will have the ball back on its own end. So Carthen over to Rosia. Rosia into Ajay. Ajay into Chandler. Chandler driving through. She kisses it off the square. And it's 9-6 in favor of Averett. Rosia getting the assist. And that's going to be number 23, Whitworth, taking on the shot. Gets the net, but the wrong end of the net. It will not hit the rim. And there's an Averett turnover. Pfeiffer trying to get back quickly in transition. So number 22, Bickford now with the ball. She's outside the key. And Carthen will get a hand in on her pass intended for Kiara Anderson. So looking at this Pfeiffer lineup right now, young team, 9 freshmen on the squad. Pfeiffer comes in 13-2 this year. Pfeiffer defeated Greensboro College 64-60 yesterday. There's a shot by Bickford, and it will fall. And 9-8 is now your score. Rosia And Pfeiffer playing that 3-2 zone right now. Tough to get it past midcourt. Chandler's layup, no good. Rebound goes to Pfeiffer. Really almost a half-court press right now for the Falcons. And there is a long ball by Sydney Bickford, and she swishes that one. She almost made that one from the Globetrotters three-point line. There's a steal by Scott. Scott puts it up, and it's good. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, Pfeiffer is on a 5-0 run to take a 13-9 lead. So that ball, Johnson over to Teskin. And Longworth now with the big three, no good. Chandler will get up, but she's only able to get a fingertip on the ball. Goes out of bounds for a Pfeiffer possession. So we're going to have Kiara Smith and Zanice Chambers entering the game for the Cougars. So the Cougars were on a 5-0 run of their own, and now Pfeiffer has answered back with 5 straight points to pull ahead 13-9, as we are now over the halfway mark here in the first quarter of this contest. So Pfeiffer trying to drive right now. It's number 22, Bickford, with the ball. Bickford with the long ball. No good. Chambers there with the rebound, trying to get things restarted quickly on the offensive end. She's going to find Texkin. Texkin puts it up, and it's good. Zanice Chambers on the assist. Chambers getting the dime, and it's now 13-11. 3:47 remaining in the first quarter. Pfeiffer trying to answer back. They will get the ball over to Whitworth. Whitworth shot no good. Rebounded by Grayson Harrison. No good again. And I believe Averett is going to get whistled for a foul. That is her first personal, team's third. Not a shooting foul, though, as the teams were battling for a rebound, so it will just be a simple restart for Pfeiffer. Number 23, Whitworth. And that is going to be a long ball there by Bickford. No good. She will try to track down her own shot. Unable to do so. The ball goes out of bounds, and the Cougars have possession. So we're looking at these two teams right now, and really height-wise, they seem to match up pretty nicely. We got Grayson Harris, the tallest player on the team, 6'2" center, out of Burlington, North Carolina, about 45 minutes from Danville. So not too far of a trip at all. And that ball is played inside to Carthen. And Carthen will finish off. And Raven Johnson will pick up the assist on that. So one thing that the Cougars have going for them right now, a good majority of their buckets have been assisted. Averett already with 3 assists here in this first quarter, and that's going to be Aaliyah May putting up a shot. No good. Harris there with the rebound. Great play inside by Kiara Anderson to get the ball, and Johnson whistled for the foul. That is her first personal, team's fourth, so Averett already with 4 team fouls. Pfeiffer close to being in the bonus early on here. Their first shot is good. Kiara Anderson. And Pfeiffer is a physical team. It's going to use the little bit of a size advantage that it has to try to outmuscle the Cougars under the board. Try to put the bodies in there to get the defensive and offensive rebounds, and also to limit Carthen and Chandler to easy looks inside, and also try to force Averett to its three-point game, which has gotten a lot better this year, but it's still not Averett's bread and butter. Averett's still very much a team predicated on the inside game. So Smith over to Carthen, and Smith is going to get whistled for the walk. And Pfeiffer will get the ball ahead 14-13, 2:43 remaining in the first period. I'd like to thank you for tuning in to the Averett Sports Network. Now, there's a lot going on right now in the sports world. You got the Pro Bowl, you got some good college basketball going on, but you're here with us, and we do appreciate it. And should have 2 good games for you to watch. So that's going to be Shalonda Wilkins moving in. No good. Smith gets her hand on it. Ball ends up going to Carthen. Jump ball is going to be called, and the arrow will stay with the Cougars. 14-13, 2:15 remaining in the first period. Averett looking to avenge an earlier loss to the Falcons this year, just as they did against the Panthers of Ferrum College yesterday. And Averett right now having trouble adjusting to Pfeiffer's defense. The Cougars have had quite a few turnovers, especially down on Pfeiffer's end of the court. Pfeiffer using a half-court press, putting 3 bodies in the backcourt, going up against the Cougars, and that's number 12. Amaya McLean looked like she walked a little bit there, but it does not matter as her layup is no good. So Tuscan's pass not going to its intended target. Carthen Chambers does control it, though, and they get the ball back over to Carthen, and Carthen will draw the foul. Number 10, Shalonda Wilkins. That is her first of the game. Team second. 144. Expect a very physical game between these two teams. As I said earlier, Pfeiffer with a little bit of a size advantage right now over the Cougars. Sam Chandler, Raven Johnson, the 2 tallest Averett players, coming in at 5'10". Meanwhile, the Falcons do have a pair of 6-footers in Kaylee O'Dwyer and also Grayson Harris. And right now, neither one of those have the ball as it's Wilkins. And Wilkins feeds it off to May. And May will finish it off. And Chandler, and she's going to draw the foul. So we saw right there Liz Hickey having 3 players in the backcourt trying to counter the half-court press of Pfeiffer right now. Call it a half-court press, 3-2. So Longworth right now with the ball. She gets it over to Chambers. Chambers driving in. Her shot off the square, and it's good, 16-15. So Chambers pulling a Tim Duncan there and kissing it off the square. Duncan, quite a few game winners over his career with that shot, and Raven Johnson getting called for the foul on the Aaliyah May shot. As Johnson got the block, but made contact with May's wrist. And that's going to send May to the line for 2 shots. And her first shot is good. May almost looked like she could have got whistled for a lane violation there. So Ajay back into the game for the Cougars. She has been a big force for Averett this year as well, the junior. And May hits both of her shots, and it's now 18-15 Pfeiffer with 1:04 remaining. And Pfeiffer not giving up on that half-court press right now. Chandler, though, and Chandler over to Ajay. Ajay finishes it off, 18-18. And with this fast-paced offense this year from the Cougars, you have to be careful running that half-court press or running any kind of press, whether it be half-court or full court, as the Cougars are very quick moving the ball up and down the court, and they can use effective long passing to defeat the press. And so that's going to be number 10, Wilkins, right now with the ball. She gets it out to Mays. That's going to get out to number 3, O'Dwyer. O'Dwyer, an air ball on that. Carthen comes down with the rebound. Carthen with a football pass to Chandler. Chandler does a great job of hustling down. Not only does she get a hand on the ball with her foot on the baseline, but a under-the-legs pass to try to save it. But in the end, her efforts are futile as it will result in an Averett turnover. But a good idea there by Carthen to deliver that Hail Mary pass, trying to beat Pfeiffer's press right now. And you have to give them credit. That was good thinking on the court. I almost said field, and we're going to have a foul there. And that's going to be and let's see, that foul is going to be whistled against number 35, Abby Wagner, the 5'10 freshman out of Stanfield, North Carolina. So Zenise Chambers right now switching hands on the dribble. She will get it over to Carthen on the right wing. Carthen driving in, puts up her jumper, no good. And that's going to bring the sound of the buzzer in the end of the first quarter. So we've got a tight one here at the Grant Center. Pfeiffer 18, Averett 17. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with the second quarter here on the Averett Sports Network. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back as we are getting ready to start the second quarter here at the Grant Center. Tight back and forth contest, 18-17 in favor of Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer using a mix of its half court, full court press, and also very quick passing to get the ball inside, put up buckets. And it's 18-17. Here in the second 10 and make it 20-17 now, as that was Sydney Bickford getting in there for the hoop. So Rosia with the ball. So, and there's a steal by number 11, Scott. Scott tries a bounce pass out to 15, Brina Bentley. And somehow or another, that is Averett ball. Not that you will complain about it if you're a Cougars fan, but that ball clearly deflected off an Averett player's foot and out of bounds, but the Cougars will maintain possession or will regain possession. So Haley Chandler into the game now for the Cougars. Chandler, the lone senior, Haley Chandler and Sam Chandler, the lone seniors on this Averett team. And with the way that they have performed this year, so Brooke Carthen now under the basket. Carthen is going to draw the foul. She will draw the blocking foul. She was not shooting, though, so it will just result in an inbounds. And there's another Averett turnover, as it was Sydney Bickford there to collect the deflection. So number 11, Deja Scott now, and that ball is played out to Harris. Harris out to number 22, Bickford. Bickford trying to make something happen with Chandler and Ajay in her face. And in the end, Averett will draw the foul. It's going to be number 22, Sydney Bickford, whistled for it. That is her first of the game, Pfeiffer's first of the quarter. Team fouls do reset between periods. Personal fouls, however, do not. So Rosia over to Chandler. Pfeiffer only with one person back. Chandler's layup no good. She was off balance when she made that shot. So Bickford's going to put up a long ball that doesn't have a prayer. Carthen there to collect the board. Over to Rosia. Rosia stopping the action for a minute. Nice cutback there. So Rosia, bounce pass over to Carthen. Carthen is going to shoot the tray. No good. Chandler there for the rebound. Blocked by Harris. And that's going to be number 15, Bentley. And we're going to see that is definitely an offensive charge there. And we've got an Averett player down on the court. Trying to tell who it is. It looks like Haley Chandler. Is she? No, that is actually Alexis Rosia. And it looks like she is in some pain down here. She took a shot. Looks like it might have been her hip. As Bentley went in hard on that play, the 5'9" forward freshman going up against the 5'4" Rosia. Rosia hung in there, though, and I think Rosia just caught a stinger. As you see, she's trying to get her breath back down there. Might have caught a little stinger on the hip. So Chandler right now is Averett trying to start using some long passing to break this Pfeiffer press. So Smith right now with the ball. She gets it over to Chambers. Chambers over to Chandler. Chandler back to Chambers. Chambers inside to Ajay. Ajay out to Smith. Smith, she's going to shoot her jumper, and her hoop will fall. 2019 Pfeiffer 746. Smith, the standout women's basketball player at George Washington High School. About 10 minutes up the road here from the Grant Center. Played under head coach Dowdy Smith. And that is going to be Sam Chandler on the rebound from Pfeiffer's shot. Chandler trying to do it all herself, going east to west, and she does. And Sam Chandler says, my favorite program is Space Goes Coast to Coast, as she finishes her basket after grabbing the defensive board. 21-20, 7:15. Averett now back in the lead. It's first since early on in this contest. Pfeiffer going back to its bread and butter. Tight passing, trying to work the ball inside here. 11, Scott moving in, and it's going to be Smith charged with the foul. That is Smith's first personal, Averett's first of the quarter, and that's going to send Scott to the line. So I think Hickey and the Cougars here tonight are perfectly fine with taking a couple of fouls if it means limiting the looks that this tall Pfeiffer team can have on goal. And speaking of tall looks, head coach Tui Loy in his fourth year switching over to his larger lineup as the Falcons have started to get out-rebounded a little bit here. So Chambers and a host of Pfeiffer players going for it, and with the with the arrow already sitting in Pfeiffer's direction, it will go to the Falcons. 6:59, 21-20, Averett in front. Destiny Jackson. Jackson gets it over to McLean. McLean trying to make something happen. McLean, a little scoop shot, and she gets it to fall. 22-21, 6:48 remaining. So Pfeiffer dropping down from Division II this year. They do have some scholarship players, which makes them ineligible for USA South Conference play. Chambers on the other end, no good. Trying to collect her own rebound, but in the end it's Destiny Jackson winning out. So any of these games that Pfeiffer plays against USA South opponents this year will not count, and Pfeiffer is not eligible for postseason play this year. Pfeiffer, one of many teams right now taking the step down from D2 to D3, trying to cut back on some travel, cut back on some money spent. Also, playing at the D3 level means no full academic scholarships. Coaches and administration and administrators are allowed to help get the players Pell Grants, things like that. And there is a jumper from number 23, Whitworth, no good. Texkin coming down with the rebound. And Averett right now with three players in his face. Chamber does a great job of finding Chandler on the other end. Chandler gets over to Texkin. Texkin's bounce pass into Johnson. And kiddies, if you are watching at home, that is how you beat a half-court press. Efficient passing there by the Cougars. Three crisp passes lead to a basket from Johnson and a 23-22 lead. So 23 Whitworth now trying to drive in. She puts it up. No good. Chambers there with the rebound. Pfeiffer just playing with the two now on the Cougars' end of the court. And the ball goes out of bounds, deflected off a Pfeiffer player, so possession will stay with Averett. 23-22, 5:36 remaining in the first half. So Chambers is going to have a long ball. No good. Johnson is there. She gets it out to Teskin. Teskin with the jumper, and that is going to swirl around in the net. And 25-22. And we're going to wait a second here. I think there was a foul whistled on the play on Carthen, maybe after the fact. It appears the basket will still count as they have not taken the points off the board yet. 25-22, 5:17 remaining in the second period. So number 12, McLean now with the ball, trying to make something happen outside the key. McLean trying to drive in, kicks it out to a Dwyer who is out on the right wing. It's Anish Chambers, and those wing shots are some of the hardest ones to make in basketball, as you are at a angle on the basket. So Pfeiffer coming down with a big play on defense. Quick restart down to the other end. Destiny Jackson will find the basket, and it's 25-24, 4:40 remaining here in the first half. Chandler over to Chambers. Chambers slowing things down a little bit, gets it over to Teskin. Teskin back to Chambers. Chambers will have another attempt at a three, and this one falls. And that is a big one right there, as Pfeiffer had cut his deficit down to 1. And that triple makes it a 4-point contest, 2 possessions now with 4:11 left in the half. So Reagan Allen with the shot will not fall. Johnson with the rebound. Johnson over to Chambers. Chambers trying to get the ball down quickly to Averett, and she's going to get hit with a walk. And so we're going to have a platoon change here for Pfeiffer. Chandler and Rosia into the game for Averett. Meanwhile, it's going to be number 2, Harris, Bickford, Destiny Jackson into the game for the Falcons. So that's number 2. Grayson Harris getting in. Grayson Harris with a turnaround J, and she gets it to fall. Unnatural as well, it looked like for Harris. Left-handed. 28-26, 3.5 now remaining in the first half. Texan over to Carthen. Carthen back over to Chandler. Chandler thought about a 3. Sees Rosia on the left wing, and Rosia's shot will not fall, but she is fouled on the play. Glad to see Rosia back in the game after taking that hard spill earlier in the quarter, and she will draw yet another foul. And Alexis Rosia at the line for 3 shots. Averett in front, 28-26. Her first hoop falls in. So let's see what Rosia can do on the middle of her attempts. So Rosia enters this game so far on the season 76.1 from the line. And she is 1 for 2 thus far. And now at the line shooting her final attempt. And here it goes. And we've got a lane violation there on Pfeiffer. That was a pretty obvious one too, but a delayed whistle, but it is a whistle. So Rosia will shoot one more, 29-26, and she knocks that one down. 30-26 is now your score. Averett coming in 67.8% from the free throw line this year as a team. Pretty impressive numbers for Hickey and her squad. They've got to be feeling good about that heading into the stretch. I believe 9 conference games left here. So number 10, Wilkins puts it up. Rebound by Bentley. And we're going to have a stoppage here. I think they're going to want some more time put on the clock. 3:04 remaining in the half. 28 ticks on the shot clock. Let's see what they were set it to. Pfeiffer facing a 4-point deficit right now. And they're actually going to take about 18 seconds off the shot clock there. So Pfeiffer needs to get this shot off quickly, and that is going to be number 10, Wilkins with the long ball. No good. It does hit the rim, though, so shot clock resets. Bickford there with the rebound. She gets it out to May. May, and that is a walk and a half, as May almost needed a passport on that play, as that was a big-time travel. May, the 5-foot freshman out of Birmingham, Alabama. 30-26, 2:46 remaining here in the half. Texan now with the ball, gets it down to Chandler. Chandler well guarded by Bickford. And Chandler driving in through 3 players. And in the end, she's going to draw the foul, Grayson Harris. So Chandler enters this game shooting 74.4% from the free throw line. She will look to improve on those numbers right here. First shot off the front iron, no good. So let's see what Chandler does with the back end of her attempts. And she will make that one count. 31-26, 2:39 remaining here in the second period. Tight game. Don't think there was any question coming into this one whether it was going to be a tight one or not. I think the big question was Averett going to be able to withstand Pfeiffer's aggressive play and also aggressive defense. And Deja Scott gets a little lost, and Rosia there to make her pay. Rosia with the scoop shot, and she draws the foul. 33-26, and this is now the biggest lead of the game for either one of these teams. So Deja Scott getting called on the foul. Rosia will go to the line, looking to complete Averett's second three-point swing here of the half. And here's her shot. Rosia's shot falls down, and it's 34-26, 2:15 remaining. And it's number 11 right now, Deja Scott with the ball. See what Scott can do, see if she can get something set up with her team reeling a little bit right now, but Pfeiffer more than able, and Rosia there to collect the errant pass. Rosia bounce pass over to a streaking Chandler. Chandler driving in, and Chandler is going to draw yet another foul. And that's going to be number 2, Grayson Harris. And excuse me, it's actually going to be Sydney Bickford getting whistled for the foul. And Chandler going to the line for a pair of shots, looking to improve on that already solid free throw shooting percentage on the season. She will miss the first attempt. 34-26 is your score. 1:53 remaining in the half. Chandler's second shot, no good. Carthen there for the rebound, puts it back, and Averett's lead now is extended to double digits. 36-26, 1:43 remaining. And number 22, Sydney Bickford, get him. And actually, no, that's going to be Sam Chandler. Whistle for a foul. That's Chandler's second. Thought at first that foul was on Pfeiffer. Either way, no matter who it's called against, that was a little bit of a cheap foul. As there is a certain level of hand checking that is allowed. And neither player looked to go above and beyond those boundaries right there. So a nice inside pass over to Harris. Harris shot no good. Carthen there for the rebound. Rosia to Longworth. Longworth thought about the tray, maybe should have taken it, called for a travel. Didn't really see too much right there. The trailing official, though, with the best view on that one behind behind Longworth. And she will make the travel call. So that ball is played out to number 23, Whitworth. Whitworth driving in. She kisses her shot off the glass, and it's back to an 8-point game, 36-28. So Pfeiffer going back to his full court. Half court. Carthen over to Rosia. So with the clock now under a minute, Rosia just trying to slow the game down, make sure Averett does not commit any big turnovers. And Rosia on a pass from Ajay, and Rosia gets the field goal marker there from the referees as her three-pointer falls in. 39-28. Big time shot there as Pfeiffer had gotten its deficit down to single digits, and that's going to be number 23, Kayla Whitworth, answering back with a three of her own to get Pfeiffer's deficit back down to 8. We're going to have a timeout here on the court. 29.8 seconds remaining in the half. Averett with a 39-31 lead right now. So we're going to take a look here. Bickford entered this contest trying to find her numbers. And we've got him. Bickford entered struggling from the from beyond three-point range. 33.6% as Pfeiffer has only shot 29.1% from beyond the arc all year. That's to go along with a 36.7 mark from inside. But you take a look at the totals here. Pfeiffer with 401 field goals this year. Meanwhile, They only have 91 3-point field goals. So you can see Pfeiffer's game very much predicated, and Ajay gets a shot up and gets it to fall, and the lead goes back to double digits. So Pfeiffer, one of those teams that uses its half-court press, uses the defensive pressure to force turnovers on its end and convert those chances, and that's going to be 23. Whitford's shot, no good. She grabs the rebound. The foul will be whistled against Rosia. That is her first personal, team fourth. And that's going to bring number 23, Whitworth, to the line. Whitworth comes in shooting 60% from the line thus far. She will improve that number as she hits her first of two. 41-31 now. 3.4 seconds left on the clock. Here's the second shot, and that one falls, and it's back to a 9-point game. So Rosia is just going to throw up a one-hand bomb there, and she does not miss by a ton. If she was able to get that one down a little bit and try to bank it off that square, she probably finishes that shot from downtown, but unable to do so. So that's going to take us into the half. Averett with a 41-32 lead. We're going to take a quick break here on the Averett Sports Network, but when we come back, we will have the Danville Mall halftime show for you. Keep it locked here on the Averett Sports Network. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the Grant Center as we are about 3.5 minutes from the start of the second half of this contest between the Cougars of Averett University and the Falcons of Pfeiffer University. Welcome to the halftime show put on here by Danville Mall. Would like to thank them and all our Team Averett sponsors. And so now we're going to take a look here at a quick rundown of some stats. First for Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer so far has been led by Sydney Bickford, who has 7 total points on 3 of 6 shooting from the floor. Also, she has knocked down the Falcons' lone three-pointer. She is followed by Kayla Whitworth, 6. Whitworth 2 for 2 from the line to go along with a 2 for 8 shooting performance from the floor. Meanwhile, Grayson Harris, Deja Scott, and Aaliyah May each coming in with 4 points to round out the leading scorers for the Falcons. So Pfeiffer right now shooting a dismal 36 1/3 from the line, from the floor. They have backed that up with a 5 for 10 performance from the free throw line, though. Good enough for 50%. Pfeiffer so far 15 rebounds, including 8 on the offensive end. Meanwhile, for the Cougars have been led by Alexis Rosias, 10 points. Brooke Carthen and Sam Chandler have also contributed 7. Averett coming in shooting a hot hand right now, 63% from the field. Also 2 of 4 from three-point range for a 50% mark. And they are shooting 55.6 from the line. So really the big difference so far in this game has been the second quarter, as the Cougars were able to outscore the Falcons by a total of 24-14 in the second frame to get us to this 41-32 score. Another big difference in this game. Averett right now out-rebounding the Falcons by a total of 22-15. And one of the big differences really in that category has been Averett's 18 defensive boards. And that's led to a lot of points on the other end for the Cougars. Rebounders, it's Brooke Carthen right now with 6. Raven Johnson with 4, including 3 on the defensive end. Meanwhile, Carthen split almost right down the middle, has 2 offensive boards and 4 defensive. And one of the things that I've noticed, Pfeiffer came straight out of the gate, and they will continue to run it the rest of the way, running its full court press. And then it appears to me that they drop back into a 3-2, but there in the second quarter, Averett started wearing down Pfeiffer a little bit, started getting some quick passes in, some 1-2-3 passing into the basket, and that has led to a big difference as the Cougars have used those spurts of energy to get some buckets on the other end and beat this talented Pfeiffer defense. And speaking of Pfeiffer, Pfeiffer coming in, dropping down from D2 this year to Division III. They do have a couple of scholarship players still on roster, meaning that they will not qualify for USA South postseason play. But Pfeiffer, though, still coming in here, showing that it is a extremely talented team, 13-2. And Averett, we were speaking of rebounds earlier, Averett right now 989 rebounds entering this game. And, of course, their 22 here puts them over 1,000 for the season. So Pfeiffer starting off things with a quick bucket here, as it is number 12, Amaya McLean, getting the bucket. So Rosia trying to get around this full court press from Pfeiffer. So Rosia into Ajay over to Carthen. Carthen driving in, no good. Johnson there with the rebound, no good, but she will be fouled on the play. And she will go to the line for a pair of shots. 41-34 is the score. Averett was able to get its advantage up to double digits multiple times near the end of the period. Johnson's first shot, no good. Johnson comes into this game shooting 64.6% from the free throw line, so solid numbers there for her. thus far, and she will hope to continue that. So there's Johnson's second shot, and she will get that one to fall. And it's now 42-34 with 9.5 minutes remaining here in the third period. So it's going to be number 11, Deja Scott. Scott kicking the ball outside. That's going to be number 22, Bickford. Bickford over to Scott. Scott driving in. Scott's basket good. Scott now has all 4 of Pfeiffer's points here to start off the half, pushing her total to 8. And Carthen making a contested layup there. Hickey is arguing contact. She will not get the call. 44-36 is now your score. That's going to be number 15, Bentley. And Bentley's going to get whistled for the travel. Bentley appeals the call, but the referee goes to Judge Judy, says, I don't want to hear it. And Averett will get the ball back. Still facing Pfeiffer's full court press, though. So Rosia to Chandler. Chandler back to Carthen. Carthen over to Rosia. Rosia over to Carthen. Carthen inside to Chandler. Chandler trying to pull the backwards baby hook there. Shot's no good, but it will deflect off a Falcons player. So Averett ball. So Rosia out to Chandler. And there's a foul on the play. It will not be of the shooting variety, though. So Amaya McLean getting whistled. McLean out of Hickory, North Carolina, down around the Raleigh-Durham area, about an hour and a half drive down Route 40 here from Danville, or Interstate 40, excuse me. So Chandler to Johnson. Johnson over to Rosia. Rosia's jumper, and it's good. And Rosia now has a dozen. 47-36, 8:09 remaining. And it's number 12, Amaya McLean now, or excuse me, number 11, Deja Scott. The ball is over to Bickford. Bickford over to Harris. Harris over to Bentley. Bentley back over to Scott. And that is going to be Scott coming in for the layup. 47-38. So Carthen now on a quick restart, and she will draw yet another foul. And excuse me, that was not Carthen. That was Ajay. 47-38 your score. Bentley whistle for the foul. Her second personal, team's third already. And Ajay, her jumper falls. And it's now 49-38, 7:36 remaining in this contest. Number 12, McLean, or excuse me, 11, Scott, now with the ball. Scott gets it over to number 15, Bentley. That ball is going to get over to McLean. McLean back to Harris. Harris gets it over to Bentley. Bentley back over to Scott. Scott trying to drive in, and Rosia will strip it, but she's unable to maintain possession. The ball goes out of bounds. 48-38 is your score. 7:15 remaining in the third quarter. Averett led by 9 at the beginning of the half. So Chandler on the quick start by the Cougars. And Chandler, great job of judging Bickford. And when she was going in for the block, waits a second and puts up her layup, gets it to fall. 50-38 is now your score. 6:58 remaining in this contest. So Scott now. Scott gets it over to Bentley. Bentley over to McLean. McLean over to Harris. Harris gets it over to Bentley. Bentley still with the ball. Bentley driving. She puts it up and no good, but she will draw the foul. It's going to be number 11, Raven Johnson, getting whistled for the foul. It is her second, team's first of the period. So Brina Bentley will go to the line to shoot a pair. Bentley's first shot falls through the bucket. So Bentley coming into this game shooting 53.3% from the free throw line. Let's see if she can improve on those numbers with her second attempt. And she will, as it falls in 50-40. So we've got number 23, Kayla Whitworth, coming into the game. So with the Falcons running the press the whole entire game, you see a lot of platoon switches. We just saw a platoon switch for the Falcons. So Smith now into the game. She finds Ajay. Ajay will finish off the bucket. And it's 52-40 now, 6:23 remaining. So we're going to have, for the Falcons, we'll have Wilkins back into the game. We get Anderson into the game. Also Whitworth back into the game, and Aaliyah May into the game. So number 24, Anderson, will look for May. She'll find her. May driving to the basket, does a great job of finishing. 52-42, 6 minutes now. Chandler with the ball. Pfeiffer backing off of his press a little bit. So Shannon Longworth, and Longworth is going to get hit with a travel. And we've got some calls going on down here right now that I don't necessarily agree with. And yes, Pfeiffer fans, I would be saying the same thing if these calls were being whistled against your team. So number one, Aaliyah May, that is over to Whitworth. Whitworth from the left side, long downtown, gets it to fall. 52-45 is now your score, as May made that shot from the parking lot. So Rosia and I think we are going to have a stoppage in play to reset the clock. And that's exactly what it was, as the clock will be reset to 5:47. So Raven Johnson and Zanice Chambers into the game now for the Cougars, who hold a 7-point lead with 5:47 remaining. So Chambers on the inbound from Longworth. Chambers over to Smith. Smith, a nice bounce pass over to Longworth. Longworth, a lob into Johnson. No good. Number 23, Whitworth, there for the rebound. And that's going to be number 23, Whitworth, getting whistled for the travel. So Zanice Chambers on the rebound, or excuse me, on the inbounds. She gets it over to Smith. Smith into Johnson. Johnson all the way out to Chandler. Chandler drives in, kisses her layup off the glass. 54-45. So Chandler just had 7 at the half, but she's starting to open up her performance here in the third quarter. And it'll be interesting to see what she finishes the period with. So number one, Aaliyah May. Aaliyah May with the long ball. Does not fall. And the ball will go out of bounds. So we've got McLean, Scott, Bickford, Bentley, and as we said earlier, McLean into the game. Also Grayson Harris into the game for Pfeiffer, as they're going to switch right back over, keeping that full court press on. And that is number 22, Bickford, coming up with a big triple there. 54-48, 4:51. Press in full effect right now. Smith over to Chandler. Chandler puts up her shot. It's good on the other end. 56-48 is now your score. We've got a timeout on the floor. We're going to take it with them, but we'll be right back here on the Averett Sports Network. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Grant Center. 56-48 in favor of the Cougars. 4:42 remaining in the third period. Sorry about the little popping there for a second. Had the audio up a little bit too loud. So that's going to be 11, Deja Scott. She gets it out to number 22, Sydney Bickford, who knocks down another big three. And the press almost comes to fruition again for the Falcons as Scott got in there and got a hand on the inbounds pass, but Pfeiffer unable to maintain possession. And it goes out for an Averett inbounds. 56-51 now as Sydney Bickford has hit a couple of big threes. So Zanice Chamber right now over to Raven Johnson. Johnson to Carthen. Carthen to Chambers. So Pfeiffer right now, and that ball is inside to Carthen. Carthen puts it up. No good. She is fouled. So Pfeiffer right now using the fact that Averett has quite a few underclassmen into the game right now and using that pressure to use its press to confuse the youth. So Chandler back into the game. Carthen on her second shot now. 57-51 is your score. 4:07 remaining in the third period. Carthen's second shot is good. 58-51. Averett with its lead just about back up to what it was at the half, 9. So Deja Scott right now, that ball is kicked out to Sydney Bickford. Bickford back to Scott. Scott trying to make something happen. She gets it out to number 15, Bentley. Bentley trying to drive, and she will draw the foul. So that is going to send Bentley to the line. Carthen whistled for the foul. So Bentley, as I said earlier, entered today's game shooting over 50% from the free throw line. First shot is good, 58-52. So right now the difference in this third quarter for Elise Pfeiffer has been its ability to knock down a couple of big threes here. Bickford has 2 big triples. And then Pfeiffer has also shot productively from the free throw line as Bentley knocks down both of her shots to make this a 5-point game with 3:43 remaining. We've got a 30-second timeout, so we're going to stay here. No need to cut away for that. So we're going to listen to the Averett Marching Band a little bit over here, led by Averett's own Janet Phillips. The band really adds a collegiate atmosphere to these games, and it also makes the Averett crowd, or makes the Grant Center that much tougher of a place to play if you are an opponent, and especially if you are a opponent facing a deficit. 58-53 is the Falcons' deficit. 3:42 remaining here in the third period. So Zanice Chambers right now. Chambers trying to make something happen. Pfeiffer back into its 3-2. Now it just basically now looks like they've transitioned over into man. So Carthen over to Johnson. To Teskin. Teskin to Johnson. Johnson to Chandler. Chandler puts up another contested layup. That one doesn't fall though. And we're going to have a charge on that play. As Brooke Carthen was the one to hit the ground, and I tell you, that was a blown call right there if I've ever seen one. So Pfeiffer now on the inbound, facing a 5-point deficit. Crowd none too happy about that call either. So number 12 right now, McLean with the ball. Her shot no good. Johnson there for the rebound. Johnson to Rosia. Rosia trying to make something happen. Rosia over to Chandler. Chandler back to Rosia. Rosia bounce pass over to Sam Chandler. Chandler with the jumper. No good. Johnson there with the rebound. And there's a foul whistled. And it's going to go against number 2, Grayson Harris. Excuse me, it's going to be Deja Scott called for the foul. That will send Raven Johnson to the line for a pair of shots. So Chandler right now leads the way with 13 points for the Cougars. Carthen's first shot, or Johnson's first shot, does not fall. Alexis Rosia coming in second with 12. Brooke Carthen with 11. Meanwhile, it's Sydney Bickford leading the way for the Falcons with 13, and Kayla Whitworth with 9. So it's going to be number 22, Bickford, coming down with the board. Bickford trying to set something up, get her team to within a possession as we are wrapping up the third quarter. And that is number 12, McLean. No good. Johnson there with the rebound. Johnson to Rosia. Rosia over to Chandler. Chandler over to Sam Chandler. Sam Chandler puts up the triple. No good. Johnson there for the rebound. Johnson into Rosia. Rosia getting up to get that one over to Haley Chandler. Haley Chandler back to Rosia. Rosia bounce pass over to Johnson. Johnson over to Haley Chandler. Rosia is going to shoot a three. No good. Chandler there with the rebound. Chandler kisses it off the glass. 60-53, 151 remaining in the third quarter. And Pfeiffer with a quick restart, but a little bit too quick as Grayson Harris cannot pull in the quick pass. Ball goes out. Ajay back into the game for the Cougars. Meanwhile, Whitworth back into the game for the Falcons. So Haley Chandler will inbound over to Alexis Rosia. Rosia back over to Haley Chandler. Haley Chandler to Sam Chandler. Chandler, some nice moves there behind her back. And a nice pass over to Carthen on the opposite side of the court. Carthen is there to finish. Give Carthen the basket. Chandler the assist. And give Averett 2 more points. 62-53, 125 remaining in the third period. So right now, Aaliyah May with the ball gets it out to Bickford. Bickford's three falls. That is Bickford's third tray, her third triple of the quarter. And that's going to be a full timeout on the court, so we are going to take it with them. I'm going to get a sip of water and give my voice a rest, and when we come back, we will have the rest of the third quarter action here at the Grant Center. Keep it locked. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome back. Both teams coming out of the timeout. Pfeiffer facing a 62-56 deficit right now. Sam Chandler. Chandler gets it over to Rosia. Rosia over to Haley Chandler. Chandler, a nice handoff there by Rosia. Like a little halfback isolation right there in football. So Carthen driving in. Carthen will kiss her shot off the glass. 64-56. Looked like Carthen might have gotten away with a little bit of a travel right there. 41 seconds now. Pfeiffer's slowing things down a little bit offensively. 34 seconds remaining as it is May with the ball. May gets it over to Bickford. Bickford with 3 threes so far on this quarter. May's shot no good. Averett there with the rebound. Carthen getting the ball down. Carthen trying to drive in. Carthen over to Sam Chandler. Chandler over to Alexis Rosia. And 9 seconds left here. Rosia over to Ajay. Ajay's scoop shot, no good. Carthen there with the rebound. Carthen gets her put back to fall. 66-56. And the buzzer is going to sound on the third quarter. With the Falcons facing a 10-point deficit, we are going to take a break here on the Averett Sports Network, but we will have the rest of the action when we come back. Keep it locked. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. As we are about ready to start the fourth and final quarter, Averett holding on to a 66-56 lead right now. And there's a foul as May will draw it driving in. Alexis Rosia picks up her second personal, team's first. And that's going to send May to the line. See what she can do. Her first shot falls through. It is now a 9-point game. So May trying to hit the second one, and she does. And it is now 66-58, 9:48 remaining in this contest. Rosia to Carthen. Carthen over to Haley Chandler. Chandler back to Carthen. Carthen drives in, and Chandler and Carthen will hook up for the bucket. 68-58, 9:33 Averett. And this Cougars team right now has done a good job of adapting to Pfeiffer's talented full-court press, using crisp, clean passing, using fast passing as well to beat the Falcons back before they can hustle back on the other end. There's a shot, no good. Rebound, another shot, no good. That is going to be number 23, Whitworth. And Longworth with a long pass, intercepted by Sydney Bickford. Good idea, though, as she had Rosia racing down the court. Ajay comes in with a nice steal, catches a big blow from Abby Wagner. And we're going to have a foul on Wagner. Ajay took a big shot. Zanice Chambers now into the game for Alexis Rosia. Kiara Smith into the game as well. And Wilkins in for the Falcons. So Haley Chandler on the inbound. She will get it over to Smith. Smith double teamed right now. She will get that one over to Zanice Chambers. Chambers setting up the play. Chambers into Carthen. Carthen, nice pass to Chandler. Chandler back to Carthen. And Carthen's shot no good. Wagner with the rebound, trying to convert on the other end. She gets it over to number 23, Whitworth. So May now with the ball. May, the freshman guard out of Birmingham, Alabama. So number 22, Bickford now with the ball. Bickford with the long ball. And she knocks down her fourth three of the second half. 68-61, 8:15 remaining. Bickford absolutely deadly from beyond the arc in this second half and has really kept Pfeiffer in it. So Haley Chandler now trying to get in on the three-point action. No good, and number 23, Whitworth, grabs the rebound on the Haley Chandler shot, but she will step on the line. So Averett will get the ball back. 8:01 remaining in this contest. Averett looking to pick up a big win here. So Chandler bounce pass into Smith. Smith no good. Wagner, or excuse me, it was Whitworth trying to get a hand on it. Unable to, though. And Averett will maintain possession. So if Averett can hang on and pick up the victory, it would be the Cougars' fifth straight win. All of them coming against USA South Conference opponents or future USA South Conference opponents. So number 10, Wilkins puts up a long ball from the right side. No good. Whitworth there for the rebound. Number 11, Deja Scott putting up. Scott no good, but she draws the foul. And 68-61 is your score, 7:34. And so number 11, Scott, will go to the line. Scott, the 5'9" senior out of Burlington, North Carolina. Other side of the state from Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer is located in and around the Charlotte area, North Carolina area. So Deja Scott knocks down her first attempt from the line. Let's see if she can make good on the second freebie. And she does. And it's 68-63 now. 7.5 left to play in this contest. Pfeiffer sticking with that full court. Chambers, and that's going to be a steal for Bickford. Bickford will finish on the other end. And just like that, it's a three-point game as Pfeiffer absolutely dominates that possession with its full court press. So Smith now double team. And I think we're going to have a timeout. Liz Hickey wants a 30-second timeout. With it being of the 30-second variety, we're going to go ahead and leave the channel here, or leave the game here. And really the last couple of minutes have seen Pfeiffer really start to pick apart this Averett offense with its full court press, and also able to translate those turnovers into points on the other end. And it's helped the Falcons take what was once a 7-point deficit and trim it down to 3 with 7:12 remaining. Also, one of the big marks here so far, Sydney Bickford with 4 second-half threes. And so Sam Chandler now on the inbound as we are getting ready to pick things back up out to Smith. Smith facing a double team right now as the Falcons are making sure she does not have the three-point game. Carthen to Chandler. Chandler puts up her jumper. No good. Number 23, Whitworth, coming down with the rebound. That ball is over to Scott. Scott gets it over to Bickford. Bickford's shot no good. Number 10, Wilkins with the rebound. Wilkins gets the shot to fall. And Pfeiffer will go to the line for an attempt. And for a chance to tie this game, as it was Wilkins driving in, converting her basket. And she will now go to the line looking to complete the three-point swing and knot this up at 68. And her shot will do just that, 68-68, 6:45 left. And ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to have a thrilling finish set up on our hands. So we're going to have Raven Johnson coming into the game for Smith. The Falcons really putting the pressure on the former GW standout in her second year here at Averett. Smith does have a effective three-point shooting game and also does well of setting up plays, getting the ball into her teammates for buckets. So Garcia right now facing a wall of black and yellow. Chandler puts it up. No good. Ajay there with the rebound. No good. Chandler with the rebound. Chandler needs to get out of the lane quickly. She does. Over to Rosia. Rosia just slowing things down a little bit, and that's what Averett needs right now. Over into Johnson. Johnson's bounce pass off the foot of number 24, Anderson. And that's going to result in a jump ball. Excuse me, it was actually off the foot of Wilkins. Got Carthen and Wilkins mixed up there for a second. Jump ball goes to the Cougars. So Alexis Rosia on the inbound pass over to Ajay. Ajay with a jumper, and it's good. And Ajay will get to go to the line for a shot. Averett back in front, 70-68. So Ajay comes into this game 64.5% from the free throw line. Her shot will not fall. Chandler, an absolute hustle play for the rebound. Chandler over to Johnson. Johnson back to Chandler. Chandler over to Rosia. So Rosia now a bounce pass into Johnson. Johnson over to Ajay. Ajay puts it up, no good. So Carthen now. Carthen over to Rosia. Rosia back over to Chandler. And we've got a foul whistled on Johnson. 70-68, 5:47 remaining in this contest. Looks like we are going to have a photo finish. So number 11 right now, Deja Scott with the ball. Scott gets it over to number 10, Wilkins. Wilkins over to number 23, Whitworth. Whitworth's shot falls in, and we've got a tie ball game at 70-70. And so Chandler right now, Chandler trying to make something happen. She does, gets it to fall, 72-70, 5:15 remaining now. So Pfeiffer right now with the ball. It's number 23, Whitworth. And a little confusion there, almost a turnover. Deja Scott able to keep possession. Scott goes up, and she's going to draw the foul. 72-70 is your score, 4:56 remaining. So Scott's first shot will bounce around and fall in. So we've got number 15, Bentley, and McLean back into the game for the Falcons. And let's see if Deja Scott can tie this up. Scott, one of 4 seniors on this Pfeiffer team. And she's playing like it right now. She knocks down both of her attempts to tie this game. So we've got a 30-second timeout on the court. We actually are going to take this one with them. So we will be right back here on the Averett Sports Network. As always, you better keep it locked. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome back to the Grant Center and the Averett Sports Network. 72-72 is your score. 4:56 remaining in this. So Alexis Garcia, a nice spin move, facing that vaunted Pfeiffer full court. The FCP. So Johnson over to Carthen. Carthen back to Rosia. Rosia bounce pass to Johnson. Johnson trying to find Carthen. Ball deflects off a Pfeiffer player. Pfeiffer not happy about it. Can't really necessarily blame him. Did not really look like there was a Pfeiffer player in the area. Looked like it just an errant pass on behalf of the Cougars. So Ajay puts up a jumper, and it's good. 74-72 now. 4:28 remaining. Still a lot of basketball to play. And this game has really been like a slingshot all day long. Both teams going back and forth. Both teams very talented on the offensive end of the court, as they combined for 143 points in the last meeting. And that is going to be number 15, Bentley, knocking down a shot. 74-74. They have combined to score for 158 so far here. Ajay over to Rosia. Rosia trying to set things up. 3:52, and that's going to be number 12, McLean. She got a foot in on it. And so Averett will keep possession. 74-74 is your score. Rosia over to Chandler. Chandler inside to Ajay. Ajay back over to Chandler. Chandler with the long ball. No good. Carthen puts it up. And Carthen gets her shot to fall. And she'll have an N1 to try to complete the three-point swing. 76-74, 3:39 left. And we have seen a game and a half here today at the Grant Center. Carthen's shot, no good. It's going to be number 11, Scott, coming down with the rebound. Scott trying to go coast to coast, and she will get down for her layup. No good, but there was contact on the play. Alexis Rosia whistle for the foul, and that will send Scott to the line. (76-74), 3:32. 76-75 now, as Scott will make good on her freebie. And see if she can put the perfect mark on her attempts. That one off the front iron, no good. Ajay with the rebound. Ajay over to Rosia. Rosia, quick bounce pass to Chandler. Chandler having to switch directions, as she was well guarded. Chandler over to Rosia. Rosia bounce pass, and again off the foot of McLean. And I wonder right now if Averett's maybe just toying with Pfeiffer a little bit, trying to slow the pace down, not let Pfeiffer get too far settled into its press. And we'll see if that strategy pays off. Carthen on the inbound. So there it goes. Carthen over to Rosia. So Rosia now, bounce pass to Chandler, and number 22, Bickford, gets in there and will knock it away. Averett maintains possession. So Chandler over to Carthen. Carthen pulls up for the jumper. No good. Ajay there with the rebound, but that ball will go out of bounds. That will be a Pfeiffer ball. 76-75 now, 3:03 remaining in this contest. And ladies and gentlemen, unless something big changes, expect a exciting final 2 minutes of basketball here. So Bentley puts it up, and she gets it to fall. And we've got a 77-76 game as Pfeiffer takes its first lead of the half. And first since the second quarter. So Rosia over to Johnson. Johnson to Chandler. Chandler bounce pass into Ajay. And Ajay finishes 78-77. Ajay fouled on the follow through. And one of the things Averett has done so well today, they have done such a great job with fast passing, fast, efficient, crisp passing. And they have been able to use that combination to get around this tough Pfeiffer press defense. So Ajay is at the line looking to complete the three-point swing, and that's exactly what she will do. 79-77 now, 2:36 remaining, but don't blink now. Pfeiffer more than capable of putting up points in a blizzard, in blizzard fashion. And there's a shot right there, no good. And a big battle there for the rebound. Tough play, and Rosia down on the ground again. And we're going to have a foul whistled against the Cougars. Kind of surprising play was not stopped there. Rosia was on the court. She was in a bit of pain, and she took a hard shot to the floor. It's about 3 shots she's taken today. Rosia, though, a warrior, able to hang in there and absorb those big blows and keep going. But it will be Bickford to the line. Bickford has been deadly here in the second half. 4 3-pointers. And she will knock down her first free throw attempt there. So Denise Chambers back into the game. Bickford entered the game 72.7% free throw shooter. Mark good enough for second best on the team. And she will only improve those numbers as she hits both of them right there to tie this contest up with 2:15 left. So Chambers over to Chandler. Chandler trying to draw it through. Chandler making something happen. She's going to put it up. No good. Rebound will go to Pfeiffer, as that was number 23, Whitworth. Whitworth over to McLean. McLean pretty much all alone there. Chandler comes in with a big steal. So Carthen over to Chandler. Chandler back over to Carthen. Carthen over to Chambers. So Chambers will get that one over to Johnson. Johnson back over to Chandler. Chandler will put up a triple, and it's good. 82-79. 1:32 remaining. And so Pfeiffer wants a 30-second timeout. We're actually going to keep things tuned in right here. And a little bit different of a game than we saw last time, where it was Pfeiffer with the double-digit victory down in North Carolina by a score of 77-66. So Averett has put up 16 more points in that game, or in this game, than it did in the first game. And meanwhile, they have actually allowed Pfeiffer to score only 2 more points than its 77 mark back earlier in the season. So really, Liz Hickey, seeing the changes that she wanted to make heading into this season, wanted to increase the pace on offense, wanted to increase the defensive pressure. She implemented the press for the first time in her 7-year tenure, and it's really paying off on both ends of the court, as Averett is close to picking up a big win here. And so that's going to be number 12, McLean, getting whistled for a big travel as she made her basket. 1:14 now, so Chandler over to Chambers. And we're going to have a reset on the clock. We're going to see what they reset it to. They're actually going to take it down to 1:11. So Haley Chandler into the game for the Cougars. who are looking to hold on for a big home victory. Will increase their winning streak to 5 games. Would have won 6 out of their last 8. Chandler's 3 off the back rim, no good. Wilkins there for the rebound. Wilkins driving, no good. And there's a hustle for the rebound right now. Bickford will win out. And there's a shot from Wilkins, no good. Carthen using her legs just to get some ups right there. Come down with that board. She is facing a double team. That leaves Chambers. And Chandler now wide open. Chandler back to Chambers. Chambers has Carthen. And we've got a foul whistled against number 10, Shalonda Wilkins. The 5'7" guard, freshman guard out of Chesterfield, Virginia. That is her 4th personal. Team's 5th. So Denise Chambers now will go to the line. So Denise Chambers entering this game 66.7% from the free throw line. And here comes the first shot. It's good. 84-79. So Raven Johnson coming into the game now for the Cougars. 83-79, 32.7 seconds left. And there comes her second shot, and it's good. 84-79. And there's a timeout on the court. And I believe they want a full timeout on this one. Actually, no, they're going to go 30 seconds. So we're going to go ahead and keep it here with you. No need to pull away from the exciting action. Make sure you stick around for the URW postgame show, where we will go over some of the big plays and the big stats from each game, or from today's game. We'll also go over the turning point in this one, which is so far it's been Averett's ability to really out-hustle this monstrous full-court press from Pfeiffer. And then, of course, Pfeiffer has also used the shooting abilities of Sydney Bickford, who has sunk 4 3-pointers in this quarter. 84-79, 32.7 ticks left on the clock. Ball is inbounded, but a little bit too long there. Took a little bit too long getting that ball in. And 5-second violation on the inbound. And I think we're going to have a little discussion about that down there. No, actually, it looks like we're going to get another reset on the clock. Officials making sure that everything is right in such a tight game. So right now, Averett and Pfeiffer both lined up in the line. We'll see if that continues. They're definitely going to keep an eye on Chandler and Carthen right now. And right now, Pfeiffer playing both extremely close. I'm sure Carthen and Whitworth and Chandler and Wilkins can tell what each other had for breakfast. That's how tight the defense is right now. And they're going to hit Chandler with a double dribble on that. Chandler's kind of shocked. So Pfeiffer now is it's number 12, McLean. So Rosia and Hanley Chandler back into the game. There's the inbound over to Bickford. And Bickford has trouble with it. Rosia there to collect the trash. And number 12, McLean, can do nothing but foul Rosia to stop the clock. So Rosia, 76.1% from the free throw line so far this season. And if she can get this pair right here, it would give Averett a 7-point lead with 24 seconds. And it would just about effectively end any Pfeiffer chance of a comeback. So here's a shot from Rosia. First shot good. Actually, I should not say that. Bickford has shown her mettle as a long shooter. And Rosia knocks down both of her attempts. 86-79. We're going to have another timeout on the court. And we're going to take it with them here on the Averett Sports Network, but keep everything locked right where you're at. And welcome back. And there is Bickford with a big three right there. No good. Another shot comes up. She will get this one to fall. This one is just of the 2-point variety. And Coach Hickey wants a timeout, and we're going to take it with him here on the Averett Sports Network. We'll be right back. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. 17.2 seconds, but who's counting? Left 86-81. Carthern over to Chambers. Chambers trying to prevent the foul. We're going to have a jump ball. The arrow, is on the Falcons. And so Pfeiffer will take the ball. 13.3 remaining, 5-point game. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why we love basketball. Anything can happen. And there's the drive, no good. Chandler with the rebound. So Chandler over to Sam Chandler, and they will be forced to foul. So Bickford entered this game, or entered this half, 7 points, leading scorer. I don't see that changing here, as she has had a monstrous third and fourth period for the Falcons, knocking down 4 threes. Sam Chandler to the line. Chandler sinks the first one, 87-81. 5.2 remaining. So Chandler's second shot is up and good. 88-81 is now your score. And that's going to do it, as it's McLean's shot not falling. And the Averett University Cougars have avenged a loss to Pfeiffer earlier in the season with an 88-81 victory here at the Grant Center to split the regular season series between these two squads. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we will have the URW post-game show. So make sure you keep it locked right here to the Averett Sports Network. We'll be right back.